Hello, history fans. Welcome back to 5 Point Historian. Today, when we are hungry, we simply open the fridge or order a pizza. But in the Middle Ages, food was never guaranteed. One bad summer or one cold winter could mean a total famine. When the grain ran out and the animals died, people became desperate. They had to choose between a slow death or eating things that seem impossible to us today. Today we are exploring 5 terrifying things medieval people ate to survive. Get ready to see the darkest side of human survival. Before we look at these extreme medieval meals, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support allows us to keep digging into the most shocking parts of history. Now let's start with a recipe made of wood. 1. Bark bread and straw. The wooden diet. Imagine you are a peasant in the year 1315. The rain hasn't stopped for months. Your wheat is rotting in the fields. You have no flour, no bread, and your children are crying from hunger. What do? You look at the forest. The tactic. When the crops failed, medieval people turned to trees. They would go into the forest and strip the inner bark from birch or pine trees. This inner layer is slightly soft. They would dry this bark, grind it into a fine powder, and mix it with a tiny bit of flour, or even sawdust and straw. They called this bark bread. The real story, the Great Famine, 1315 to 1317. During the Great Famine of 1315, which hit Europe very hard, chroniclers recorded that people were so desperate that they ate anything that looked like food. In parts of Ireland and England, people were seen gathering straw from the roofs of their houses. They would chop the straw into small pieces and mix it into their bread to make the loaf look bigger. The problem? Bark and straw have almost 0 calories, and the human stomach cannot digest wood. People felt full because their stomachs were heavy, but they were still starving to death. Many people died with stomachs full of wood and grass. It was a fake meal used to stop the painful feeling of hunger, but it often led to a painful end. 2. Clay and dirt, eating the earth. It sounds like something out of a horror movie, but during the worst times in history, people actually ate the ground they walked on. This is a medical condition called geophagy, but in the Middle Ages, it was a survival strategy. The tactic. In certain areas, the soil is rich in minerals or clay. During a famine, people would dig up this specific type of yellow or white clay. They would mix it with water to create a paste or bake it into small cakes. They believed that because animals sometimes lick the dirt, it must have some nutrition. The real story, the famine of 1033. There is a famous historical record from France in the year 1033. A monk named Rodolphus Glaber wrote about a terrible famine. He described how people were digging up white clay and mixing it with whatever flour they had left. They hoped the clay would stretch the food. However, eating large amounts of dirt causes the stomach to become blocked. Glaber wrote that the people's faces became pale and their bodies swollen. They were literally filling their bodies with the earth, hoping to stay alive for one more day. It shows that when a human is truly starving, the brain stops thinking about taste and only thinks about stopping the hole in the stomach. 3. Garden pests, rats, cats, and shoes. In a normal medieval year, eating a rat was seen as disgusting. But during a siege, when an army surrounded a castle for months, the hierarchy of food changed completely. First, the horses were eaten, then the dogs, then the cats, and finally the pests. The tactic. When all the farm animals were gone, people became hunters inside their own homes. Rats became a luxury source of protein. If there were no rats left, people turned to leather. Medieval shoes, belts, and horse saddles were made of real animal skin. People would boil their leather boots for hours or even days to make them soft enough to chew. The real story, the Siege of Paris, 1590. While this happened many times, the Siege of Paris in 1590 was one of the worst. The city was starving. The price of a single rat was more than a worker's daily salary. People were so desperate that they took the bones of dead animals, ground them into a powder, and tried to make bone bread. The records tell us that the rich people in the city were eating their pet dogs, while the poor were chasing rats in the sewers. Some even tried to eat the leather covers of their Bibles. It sounds crazy today, but if you haven't eaten in 10 days, a piece of boiled leather starts to look like a steak. It's hard to imagine being that hungry, isn't it? It makes us very thankful for our modern world. If you find these survival stories fascinating, please like the video and subscribe to 5-Point Historian. We have 2 more points to go, including the most forbidden meal of all. 4. Rotting carcasses. The danger of disease. When a cow or a sheep died of a disease in the Middle Ages, the law usually said the body must be burned or buried to stop the spread of sickness. But during a famine, laws were ignored. The tactic. People would find animals that had been dead for days. Even if the meat was turning green or smelling terrible, they would wash it in vinegar or salt and cook it. They knew it was dangerous, but the fear of starving was greater than the fear of food poisoning. The real story. The rinderpest outbreaks. In the 14th century, a disease called rinderpest killed millions of cows across Europe. This caused a double disaster. There was no milk and there was no meat. In many villages in Germany and Poland, starving peasants were caught digging up cows that had been buried by the authorities. They ate the infected meat, which led to outbreaks of other diseases like anthrax and severe dysentery. Instead of saving the village, eating the rotting meat often killed the survivors even faster. It was a death trap disguised as a meal. 5. The forbidden meat. Cannibalism. This is the most controversial and terrifying part of medieval history. We often hear stories about cannibalism in myths, but did it actually happen? According to many medieval writers, during the worst famines, the answer was yes. The tactic. This was never a tactic that people wanted to use. It was a sign that society had completely collapsed. People would wait for someone to die of natural causes, or in the worst stories, they would attack travelers. The real story, the 1,315 accounts. In the year 1317, an English writer recorded that in some cities parents were hiding their children because they were afraid they would be stolen and eaten by neighbors. There are reports from Poland and Ireland of human flesh being sold in markets because there was no other meat. While some historians think these stories might be exaggerations to show how bad the famine was, the sheer number of different records from different countries suggests that it did happen in extreme cases. In the city of Bristol, it was reported that prisoners in jails were eating each other because the guards stopped giving them food. It is the ultimate horror of history, when humans stop seeing each other as people and start seeing each other as food. History is often romanticized with stories of kings and gold, but the story of the medieval kitchen is often a story of survival. From eating tree bark and clay to the dark reality of cannibalism, medieval people faced a world where nature was a cruel master. These stories remind us of the incredible strength of the human spirit and how far we will go to stay alive. Thank you for joining me for this difficult but important look at history. It's not easy to talk about, but it shows us how much our ancestors suffered to build the world we live in today. What do you think? What is the weirdest thing you have ever eaten? Tell me in the comments below. I read every single one. If you appreciated this deep dive, please like and subscribe to 5 Point Historian. We bring you 5 fascinating and sometimes shocking points from history every single week. Stay curious, stay thankful for your dinner, and I will see you in the next video.